Today, we're diving into a really powerful idea from Nassim Nicholas Taleb. And just a heads up, once you get this concept, you're going to start seeing it absolutely everywhere. It's one of those things that will fundamentally change how you look at risk, success, and maybe even life itself.
So, let's just start with a simple question. Think about it. If a package is labeled fragile, you handle it with care, right? But what do you call a package that actually wants to be thrown around? A package that gets stronger with rough handling.
Now, if your first thought was something like robust or resilient, hey, you're in good company. That's what most of us would say. But see, those things just resist shocks and stay the same. They don't gain from them. And that right there, that reveals this massive hole in our language. And because of that, a huge hole in our thinking.
The answer is a word that Taleb actually had to coin himself, antifragile. It describes a class of things that don't just endure stress. They actively get better, stronger, and more capable because of it.
So you have to wonder, why has this fundamental property of, well, basically all of life been hiding in plain sight? That's what we're going to dig into first.
Taleb uses this fantastic analogy. You know, the ancient Greeks, like Homer, they didn't have a word for the color blue. He called the sea wine dark. I mean, obviously the color blue existed. They just didn't have a word for it. Well, antifragility is exactly the same. It's this core property of every living, complex system. But because we never had a name for it, we've been basically blind to its power.
Okay, so to make this idea really stick, Taleb gives us this brilliant mythological framework. Let's take a look at Damocles, the Phoenix, and the Hydra.
So on one end of the spectrum, you've got the fragile Sword of Damocles, just hanging by a single hair. Any shock, any tiny vibration means disaster. It needs perfect stillness just to survive. But on the other extreme is the anti-fragile Hydra. You cut off one of its heads and two grow back, even stronger than before. It literally feeds on being attacked.
And this gives us the whole picture, what Taleb calls the triad. So you have the fragile Damocles, which breaks. Then in the middle, you've got the robust Phoenix. It gets reborn from its ashes, sure, but it just comes back as it was before. It stays the same. And then you have the anti-fragile Hydra, which actually improves. The real key here is their attitude toward mistakes. The fragile hates mistakes. The anti-fragile, it loves small mistakes because it sees every single one as vital information it can use to get stronger.
So if antifragility is so critical for growth, why do we seem to be constantly trying to stamp it out? Well, this brings us to the villain of our story, the modern fragilista.
The fragilista is that well-meaning planner, the expert, the overprotective parent, who tries to smooth out every single bump in the road. They create policies with these small, very visible benefits, like a perfectly stable economy or a perfectly safe playground, while completely ignoring the severe, invisible risks that are building up right under the surface.
And this is their great delusion. By trying to suppress all the natural randomness, they create this fragile pseudo-order. They act as if anything they don't know or can't measure simply doesn't exist. This constant meddling in response to normal ups and downs actually weakens the entire system, and it makes it incredibly vulnerable to the big, unexpected shocks, what Taleb famously calls black swan events, which, always come eventually.
The analogy is actually super simple. If you lie in bed for a month, your muscles waste away. They need stress to maintain themselves and to grow. Well, complex systems, everything from our economy to our own immune systems, they are exactly the same. Taking away those stressors is actually doing harm. Okay, so that's the problem. It's a big one, but how do we become the solution? Let's switch gears and figure out how we can actually learn to love the wind and gain from all this disorder.
The secret here is a biological process we all know: overcompensation. When you lift weights, your body doesn't just repair the muscle fibers, it overcompensates, making them stronger to handle the next stress. A vaccine is the exact same idea. It's a small, controlled harm that triggers this big overreaction from our immune system, leaving us way better protected in the long run.
So how do we put this into practice? Taleb proposes something he calls the barbell strategy. Basically, you avoid the fragile middle ground. On one end of the barbell, you are extremely safe. You protect yourself from any kind of catastrophic risk. Think about keeping 90% of your money in super safe cash. But on the other end, you're extremely aggressive. You take lots of small bets that have massive potential upside, using that other 10% to invest in high-risk startups, for example. You can even apply this to your career. Have a stable day job, but on the side, pursue a creative passion project that has unlimited potential.
Now, this whole idea comes with a really important ethical rule. You can't set up a system where you get all the upside, all the benefits of being anti-fragile, while other people have to bear the costs of the fragility. I mean, think of bankers who get huge bonuses from risky bets, but when those bets go bad, it's the taxpayers who have to bail them out. The solution is simple. You have to have skin in the game.
When you really get down to it, this isn't just an investment strategy. It's a whole new goal for life. It's about learning to thrive in a world that we just cannot predict.
So, the goal is not to get better at forecasting. That's a fool's game. The real aim is to build our lives, our careers, our companies in such a way that the inevitable shocks of the future don't just fail to break us, but actually make us better. This quote really captures that philosophical shift perfectly. It's about letting go of this obsession we have with prediction and control, and instead learning to embrace uncertainty as a friend, as a source of growth and opportunity. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Take a look at your own life. Where are you fragile? Where are you hanging by a thread? And what small changes can you make to stop being the candle that gets extinguished by the wind and start becoming the fire that wishes for it?